Trump proposes a plan to relocate Palestinians from Gaza as part of his clean-out strategy. The Israel-Palestine conflict remains one of the most contested geopolitical struggles. U.S. Presidents Joe Biden and Donald Trump have approached the Gaza crisis with starkly opposing tactics. Their actions, steeped in competing ideologies, reveal much about how U.S. foreign policy shapes events on the ground. Let's analyze how these strategies influence the region's stability and its people's survival. As the 46th president, Joe Biden has underscored America's continued support for its ally, Israel. Under his administration, military aid bolstered Israel's defenses, but also contributed to intensifying airstrikes in Gaza. This support, aimed at counteracting escalating hostilities, inflicted devastating consequences on civilians. Entire neighborhoods were obliterated. Thousands of Palestinians were displaced, sparking humanitarian outcry. International organizations warned of worsening conditions, with Gaza teetering on the brink of uninhabitability. While Biden defends this support as a commitment to Israel's security, critics argue the price paid by innocent Palestinians overshadows the strategy's merits. This begs the question, as escalation persists, has U.S. intervention mitigated or fueled instability in Gaza? In contrast, current President Donald Trump adopted an ambitious, divisive approach. Labeling Gaza a demolition site, Trump proposed relocating 1.5 million Palestinians to neighboring Arab countries. He framed this plan as an opportunity for Palestinians to rebuild their lives, facilitated by international cooperation for housing construction. However, critics saw this as an oversimplified solution to a complex territorial and humanitarian crisis. Moreover, such a policy disregards Palestinians' deep-rooted connection to their land. Trump's strategy, although bold, highlighted a willingness to reshape borders, raising concerns about its feasibility and compatibility with international principles of sovereignty and self-determination. Arab nations, particularly Jordan and Egypt, were thrust into the spotlight under Trump's proposal. Jordan's King Abdullah II flatly opposed it, declaring Jordan's existing population of 2.3 million Palestinian refugees an already heavy burden. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi stressed resistance to forced displacement, a stance consistent with Egypt's historical advocacy for Palestinian rights. Palestinian leaders and their allies strongly condemned the notion of relocation. Citing the traumatic memory of the 1948 Nakba, groups such as Hamas and Islamic Jihad denounced the idea as a repeat of history. International law experts labeled it unjust and potentially incendiary in volatile Middle Eastern geopolitics. Interestingly, some Israeli far-right figures like Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich endorsed the plan, claiming relocation could foster better lives for Palestinians. Yet such views were overshadowed by the overwhelming consensus that uprooting an entire population would spell disaster for regional stability. At the heart of these policy debates lies the dire reality of Gaza's residents. With over 46,000 dead and nearly its entire population displaced, Gaza bears scars of unrelenting violence. Displaced Palestinians like Rafika Soub voice the haunting anguish of losing their homes. We want to go back, even though our houses are gone, our homes are irreplaceable. This humanitarian toll underscores a broader question. Can any political solution offset the suffering endured on such a massive scale? Both Biden's support for Israel and Trump's relocation ideas seem detached from everyday realities on Gaza's ground. Trump's approach to Gaza doesn't exist in isolation. His presidency was marked by sweeping and, at times, surreal geopolitical proposals, annexing Greenland, rebranding the Gulf of Mexico, and even positing Canada as a potential U.S. state. While these strategies reflect a penchant for bold actions, they've raised questions about coherence and long-term impact. Critics argue that his Middle East initiatives were less about practical diplomacy and more about asserting dominance in global politics. What's next for Gaza? As a fragile ceasefire holds, Gaza's future remains precarious. Biden and Trump's divergent policies represent opposing visions for resolving or perpetuating this enduring conflict. Whether through military alliances or radical relocations, U.S. leadership exerts profound influence. News consumers must ask themselves, do these approaches bring peace closer or merely deepen the fault lines? For more in-depth analysis on critical global issues, subscribe to Taylor's Insights. Your voice matters in shaping the discourse. Don't hesitate to comment and join the conversation.